Hello, welcome to Infinite Prattle. I think this is like series. I know what series it is. It's series 6. I think it's like episode 18 or 19 now. I don't even remember. You guys will know. I don't even know what I'm talking about this week, to be honest. So you just have to stick around for after the titles because I haven't got a bloody Scooby-Doo. So let's talk about that.
Hello and welcome to
Infinite Prattle!
Unscripted, unedited prattle on everything. Hosted by me, Stephen. Listen, like, share and subscribe and enjoy the show.
Hello, welcome back to another episode of Infinite Prattle. Thank you very much for joining me. If it's your first time, my name's Stephen, and I'm your host and the creator of Infinite Prattle. Used to be called Stephen Speaks, so don't get confused. Changed name in Series 4, I think it was, because I felt that this name captured things best. I said in the intro I don't know what I was going to talk about, and I was thinking, why doesn't that scare me that I start recording on a camera and on a microphone and have no idea what I'm going to talk about? And I think partly is because I'm used to kind of just working on the fly. It's kind of what my job's been involved with for a long time, with some sort of knowledge behind it. Well, not some sort, knowledge. And I think that's why. And then I got me thinking of what am I actually scared of? But we'll come back to the work thing probably, and that kind of not being scared of things, because it's not really true. But I probably cope with it better than some people. But then I thought, what am I actually scared of? I'll put my tongue correct in my mouth. And I was thinking just many things, obviously, like most people. But I thought they've recently announced Gremlins 3 to be a new film and a new sequel. It's been in production hell for a long time. And I thought, well, I could talk about things that scared me as a kid, and Gremlins as well. So films that scared me as a kid, pretty much. So I've just come up with that, so let's see how this goes. Kind of appropriate, the hat I'm wearing today actually says parental advisory, explicit content, like you used to see on CDs and records. Which I don't think, is that a thing still? Because everything's digital now. Does anyone actually put digital warnings on things? You got the explicit content thing? I don't know. But anyway, this hat's from Shein or however you pronounce it, the cheapo shop, and cost me about £2.50. So it's pretty good. There's a couple of loose stitches I've got one dangling here, which is very annoying that I need to cut off. But yeah. Oh god, this chair. Still haven't oiled it. Note to self. Forget for next time. So films that scared me as a kid. So Gremlins was a big one for me. I think I've mentioned the Gremlin thing before. I had a recurring dream when I was a child that Strike was coming to get me. That's the Gremlin with the mohawk from the first film. And yeah, I was really kind of petrified Gremlins, and my brother kind of tortured me with that idea as well, as big brothers should do, really. I was exploited for my fear of them, and he had some collectible toys. Now, I loved Gizmo. I thought Gizmo was cool, and I didn't really know what Gremlins was, didn't really see it as a film. And even though I think even back in the day it was like a PG in the UK, there was a little bit of adult content in it, but it was mainly just because the creatures were a bit freaky for me. And I don't know what it was about them. I just found them... I think part of my brain wanted to find them funny because they were mischievous, but part of my brain was like, they're terrifying. And if you look at a gremlin from that film, or Gremlins 2, they are pretty terrifying. They have, like, massive teeth, like, really sharp pointed teeth, big claws. They're weirdly proportioned, these big ears for listening to you, as if they'd be able to stalk you out around, find you if you're hiding and listen for you and stalk you, and they have like kind of human eyes, and I don't know, and it just freaked me out so much. And the fact they could multiply quite easily, and those rules you had to follow, and if you didn't follow them, all hell break loose. It was kind of a bit petrifying to me. And I didn't watch. I actually saw Gremlins 2 before I saw the first film, and it was on TV. I remember it was on Channel 4 in the UK. When the UK only had like 4 channels. Channel 5 might have been a thing, but I didn't have Sky or cable or anything like that. So we had to rely on the terrestrial channels, the free-to-air channels that were widely available to the whole of the UK. And it was on Channel 4 one night. I think it started like 10 o'clock. And it was meant to be like, I think it was like the uncut theatrical version or whatever they say it is. They kind of made a big song and dance that it wasn't going to be edited. And I said to my dad, do you mind if I stay up and watch it? And he was just like, I thought you were scared of Gremlins. And I think I was about 14 maybe at the time. And I was like, well, not anymore, Dad. Like, you know, and obviously things weren't readily as available back then. Like, you had to buy things in physical format to watch them. And things were only in short runs. So if the film hadn't been popularised or wasn't an anniversary of the film, you couldn't really find them films apart from in second-hand stores. Bring them days back, I feel like, you know, create a bit of hype on some things. So I watched Gremlins 2, was a little bit freaked out in places because it is a little bit like jump scary in places, but in general didn't find it that bad and actually quite enjoyed it. Just noticed the camera's a bit crooked, so I'm going to move that because it's doing my head in. Did it make a difference? I don't think so. So yeah, I watched it and was fine about it, and then I think it was that following Christmas, Gremlins was on TV, so I watched the first one, and that did still freak me out. I think it was like the memory of seeing it on TV. One of my core memories is it was on TV during the day one summer, I think it was. It must have been at some point in the year, either summer, spring, or autumn, when the weather was still nice enough that I could go outside and play. And I remember them saying it was Gremlins was going to come on the TV. My mum was kind of trying to get me to watch it. She knew I was terrified, but I think she was thinking if I watched it then I'd be okay. I didn't want to watch it, but I went outside and I played on my bike and I was riding around the patio in a circle, but glancing at the TV as I was going past the living room. I think it was kind of like trying to ease myself in, trying to catch a screenshot of the Gremlins to see if I was going to be okay with it, but I wasn't really. I wasn't. Yeah, so it took another. I don't know how old I was. I was quite young at that point, but it took another few years for me to kind of like get to grips with being okay with Gremlins, and I love them films now. And I'm really looking forward to Gremlins 3, and I hope it is as good as it could be. I've actually read the novelisation of Gremlins. Now I bought that recently, and I've got Gremlins 2, the new batch as well that I've read, and they're both really good novels as well. So if you get to read them, it's a good thing to read the novelisations of films, which I've mentioned before in the podcast, because you sometimes get some extra stuff. A lot of novelisations are taken from screenplays, so things will have been edited out or not even filmed. So really good, you get a little bit of insight, and you actually find out where the Gremlins came from in the novelisation. I'm not going to spoil it, but you can Google it quite easily. So another film that really freaked me out as a kid was The Wizard of Oz, Return to Oz, which I think was just called Return to Oz, which I believe was a Disney release. And that film, I've not seen it in a long time, but that film was freaky. Like, I can probably, in my mind's eye, I can imagine some of the scenes and etc. from it. But I can appreciate the production and stylized aspects of it. But yeah, as a child watching that, yeah, it's not Wizard of Oz. I mean, Wizard of Oz can be freaky in places, you know, spoiler alert, when the witch gets melted, and that is a bit freaky, and the witch is freaky herself. And as a kid, I don't think you realise that the people that Dorothy sees in real life, she sees in Oz. But yeah, the Return to Oz was an experience. The Deadly Desert, a talking chicken. She finds the Tin Man. She makes her own kind of living guy with I think, is he called Jack Pumpkinhead or something? I don't know. It's been a long time since I've seen that. And it's the Troll King I think she's got to fight this time. He's like a big stone guy, and apparently he's allergic to chicken eggs. Who knew? And then you've got TikTok, who's like a robot. Does she meet the Tin Man, or is it TikTok? I think I'm getting that confused. I think it's TikTok I'm thinking of, which is like a little stout robot. But you've got like the Wheelies, who are like punk rock kind of, didn't have hands or feet, and they had wheels. I don't know if that was how they were, or could they take the wheels off, or they were holding them. I have no idea, but it was weird. I kind of liked them though, because I liked how wild they were, but they weren't really violent, and they were a bit scared of other things. So I thought, well, they're kind of, there's a human aspect to them. But then the queen that could replace her heads was terrifying to me. Yeah, whoever came up with that for a kids' film, firstly, well done, and secondly, you're mental. But basically, this, and I can't remember what the character is, and I can't remember what she's called, and I can't remember what she plays in the story, to be honest. But Dorothy ends up in her kind of palace, and there's like a hallway, and in each glass cabinet, like mirrored cabinet, there's like a female head. And I think she wants to cut Dorothy's head off and have her as a spare head as well. And basically this witch, princess, queen person can basically take her heads off and swap them out. And it's the most, as a child, it's the most freaky things. It's one of the things you've never even thought was even possible in fantasy, let alone in real life. And yeah, it's just terrible. And there's a scene where I think Dorothy's escaping, and all the heads in all the glass cabinets are squealing and screaming. Christ. As a kid, I was just like, I watched the film. I don't think I was too traumatized from it. I don't remember like having nightmares or anything about it. So it was obviously still pitched at maybe the right level, but it was freaky. And I was just like, wow, this is weird shit, man. And I didn't like that bit. Even as an adult, I think I don't really like that bit. It's the shrillness of the sound, and it's just freaky. I can get over like the horror of it. I know it's not real, etc. But I think as a kid, I understood that as well. But yeah, really, really freaky stuff. And I don't think there was anything else too bad in that film, as far as I can remember. The wheelies were probably the other thing in there, but I felt like I was okay with them. Another one is I can't remember which film it is. It's either the Sinbad or Jason the Argonauts, or one of them films from the 60s, 50s and 60s with stop motion animation. But there was one of them films where Medusa's in the film, and I noticed actually recently that the puppet or the makeup or something had been recently discovered, and it was on sale in an auction or something from this film. And basically, it was, I think it was all stop motion, but I think sometimes it was like someone wearing a mask and they were animating the mask, I think, for close-ups. I'm not really sure. Some masks come, it might even be the stop motion puppet mask. Anyway, the Medusa in that film scared me. She had like a snake body, snake for hair, obviously could turn you to stone. And I remember thinking that was just like a terrifying prospect of just being turned to stone just by accidentally looking at someone. Yeah, really, really bad. And she had this snake body and moved really weirdly. The stop motion animation was actually really good, but you can still tell it's stop motion animation, but it was just freaky. Yeah, really weird. Excellent. If you go back and watch that, look, excellent animation. Each snake is like animated and has a personality, and is like they're having a go at each other. Brilliant stuff. Like amazing work. That whole film. Whichever one it is, I think it's Jason and the Argonauts. I can't quite remember. I've got some notes. Did I write it down in my notes? Clash of the Titans. Clash of the Titans. It says in my notes. Probably should look at them more often. Clash of the Titans. There you go. So yeah, that whole film's brilliant. Is that the one with the Cyclops as well? It's been years since I've seen these films. But if you go back and you watch Jason the Argonauts or The Golden Fleece. Is that the same film or is that a separate film? I can never remember. Clash of the Titans. They're all fantastic. I mean, they are obviously all of their day. You know, very dramatic acting, big set pieces, and a lot of early day special effects. But what they managed to produce back in the day was incredible. I can't imagine how difficult it would be to like churn out these films in 50s, 60s Hollywood and produce something to that level. And I can't remember the guy's name, but he was like the stop motion king. Most of the things you see in the films of this era were his or his team working on them. And he was fantastic at capturing the way things move. He just knew how things moved. And one of the biggest ones that I remember as well didn't really scare me, but was amazing, was which I think was Jason and the Argonauts, which was the skeleton sword fight, where the skeletons come up from the ground and they have a sword fight with the heroes, and fantastically animated. And how they did it basically was they had the actors fight something out, and then I believe they re-projected the image onto a screen, filmed that with another camera as he was animating, so it kind of appeared that they were fighting each other. I think it was like projection on the glass or something. I can't quite remember. Amazing like camera trickery basically. Absolutely fantastic. Definitely go and see them. Definitely go and see that. Another thing in a film, it's just one bit of the film, and this one still does creep me out today. And the rest of the film's fine. Maybe something towards the end, but you can kind of get over it. And that's the film E.T. So E.T. the extraterrestrial, Elliot, E.T. Is it Gertie's little sister? I can't remember. Played by Drew Barrymore. But basically, at the start of E.T., he's out scavenging and collecting samples, I'm guessing, I don't know, for the spaceship. And he gets basically realizes he has to go. People are searching for them, and he doesn't make it back to the ship. But he's like running through the forest. Now I think it's better in the original because in the updated CGI version, I love it when directors go back and do a cut of a film, but sometimes it loses something when they add CG. Star Wars did to a degree. Some things were like, oh, that's pretty cool, but on the most part, like you kind of have a special place in your heart for the original. But Steven Spielberg went back to E.T. and added some stuff in that he couldn't. They filmed some scenes, but they just didn't look right on film, and they managed to do it with like 21st century technology as they went in with CGI and basically rescanned the film and put special effects to it. There's a few scenes in that film that I think they pretty much digitally replaced all of the puppetry in the film. And for me, it doesn't look quite right. I think if they did it now, it'd probably look a bit better because CG's come a long way. But in the original, when he's running it looks like a doll on a trolley, basically. Which I think makes it look weird, the fact that E.T.'s got these little squishy legs and actually can maintain one plane of motion while running. I think that makes it weirder. But in the updated version, he's kind of like skipping along, and I just don't think it's as scary. The sound that goes with it is terrifying. And also, when Elliot discovers E.T., this is one of the other things that really scares me. And the imagery with this as well is and it still does a little bit today as well, is he goes into the garage, he's throwing the ball, I think it's M&M's or Reese's Pieces, I think it's Reese's Pieces he's been putting out for E.T. And they bump into each other, I think, in the grasses. He follows basically the sounds or something and goes into the grass, and E.T.'s there, and his neck extends and he goes, it's the weirdest sound. That was actually quite a good impression, but it's so loud and grating, and the look on E.T.'s face, because it's obviously animatronics, you only get a brief view of it as well, and it's like this shocked look, and you think, I think you think, oh my god, E.T.'s like going to attack him, but it's really shock because you've been scared. But yeah, freaky sound effects. The rest of the film's fine. Some E.T. gets ill at the end. Spoiler alert, if you've not seen E.T., it's been out for 44 years. What you've been doing with yourselves. Is that right? Yeah, it's right. It's scary. So, yeah, if you don't know the story of E.T. by now, then I don't think I've really spoiled anything for you. And the last film is obviously the big one. The big one. One of my favourite franchises, if not my favourite franchise, Aliens and Alien. I told this story a while ago, I think, on the podcast about, going to a family party and Aliens was on, and I was like, oh, should I watch it? And I remember asking my dad, and my dad was like, if you want to watch it, you can. If you have nightmares, don't come to me. And I was like, oh, right. But I trusted my dad quite a lot. And I was thinking, if my dad thinks it'll give me nightmares, then it'll probably give me nightmares. So I didn't bother. But that image in my head, stayed with me. And I had two images of aliens when I was growing up. The traditional grey ones that you see in films, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, X-Files, the little guys, big black eyes, greys as they're called, I believe. They've got another technical name, but I can't remember off the top of my head. And Alien, the xenomorph, XX121 is its technical name, I think. Yeah, and it terrified me. I watched Aliens years later, um, and I think I watched Alien first. I believe. I think I did. I think I told the story where I'd watched Aliens first. And I don't think I did because I think because it was such a big thing, I actually wanted to watch Alien first, and I did do that. I'm pretty sure I did. And that film is still unnerving. Still, I've seen that film dozens of times, and even it keeps me riveted now. Um, the way the alien moves in that film is strange. The way the aliens move in Aliens isn't creepy, but it's fast. So you've got these two sides of this alien creature that, when they want to be, they can be kind of calculated and slow. But if they just want to eviscerate you quickly, they can. Alien Earth showed that in that spectacular scene where the alien gets into that party and just cuts everyone down in seconds. It's a scene we've needed in the Alien franchise for a long time. Just an alien just going to town on people. Not that I'm like bloodthirsty or anything like that, but it just kind of calls for it. It's like it's what's needed, just to show that, like, to put a bit of fear back into people, because when a creature like that's been out so long, it can kind of like lose its effect. But on me, it definitely hasn't, and I don't think I really have had nightmares about it. But there was a big stigma about watching them films because of how scary they were and whether it would give me nightmares. So I was an adult when I watched Alien and Aliens and Alien 3, and Alien Resurrection. Well, all of them. I was an adult when I watched all of them. I don't know why I'm going through them all as if my age reversed as I went through the quadrilogy. But yeah, fantastic creature, and did what was intended in basically scaring the bejeebers out of me. So that was today's episode. 4 films, 4 film creatures that petrified me. Well, 4 films and 4 scenes from films and creatures from films that petrified me, should I say. Yeah, I don't think that they make films as they did. I think a lot of films now are shock horror, and there is still some creepy stuff out there. But I think that, especially in the children's platform, I think that there's not that element of like, let's try and scare kids. I don't think there's that. It's a children's fluffy happy times. Then it goes into like adult genre. There's not that like kind of blurred crossover now, which I feel like there was more back in the day, where the element of weird, is this acceptable, kind of blurred the lines a little bit. And I think we still do have that, but it's in a different kind of context. I think it's now for content of the script rather than what people visually see. That's my take on it anyway. That's my take on it. What scared you as a kid? Was there any films or film creatures that really petrified you? Was there anything that you really can't even watch now or see now? Let me know in the comments. Give us a like and subscribe. It really helps. And yeah, until next time, make sure you take care of each other. And remember to keep on prattling.